Hello and welcome to a new car review on the channel. Today I'm driving the 981 version of the Porsche Cayman S. This car has been loaned to me by Quorn Sports and Classics, who are an independent Porsche specialist in Quorn near Loughborough. This car is for sale there at £29,995. So I wanted to try the 981 Cayman because in a previous video I'd reviewed the 987 Cayman. There's a link up here and a link in the description below to that review. With the 987 Cayman, it was always seen as a bit of a poor relation to the 911, and that was partly Porsche's doing, as I mentioned in the previous video. They wanted to always maintain a respectable distance between the Cayman and the 911, but all the stops were pulled out for this 981 generation. The result is a great car with amazing handling, brilliant although electrically assisted steering. The 981 was and remains a landmark car for Porsche because it came even closer to stepping on the toes of the 911. The slightly dumpy look of the 987 was left behind with this model. It's slightly lower, so it makes it look a lot sleeker, and also the wheelbase is longer and it's a wider track. So it's got a lot more kind of dynamic and sort of low slung look to it. The sleekness of the design is partly down to the fact that it no longer had to share the doors with the 911. It got sort of a door design of its own making, so that helped, sort of freed up the designers to create this sort of lower, sleeker look. The 981 really helped the Cayman come out from the 911's shadow as a sort of a brilliant all-round package. That was partly helped by the fact that the 911 sort of moved up market, so it gave the Cayman a little bit more scope and a little bit more room to breathe. Some people thought the 991 911 had become a little bit numb and aloof, and that again really opened it up for the Cayman because it really is a dynamic and engaging and exciting drive when compared to that. The way it drives and flows through corners is amazing, and what's really great about it is there's something for everybody. There's something for the novice and the expert driver as well. It kind of flatters and rewards the novice, and there's always something extra to find for somebody who's a little bit more skilled. The 981 Cayman S also represented really good value. It started at just under £49,000, which was a £9,000 premium over the standard Cayman model. So let's talk about this particular Cayman. This is a nicely spec'd 2013 car. It's done nearly 63,000 miles and it still feels as tight as a drum. One of the ways you can tell about the options that are available on the 981 Cayman is to initially look at the center console and these buttons down here. If it's got 7 buttons, that means it's got pretty much most of the options that were available. This one's got 6, so it's got a lot of really useful and really interesting specifications. It's got the Sport button, it's got Sports Plus, which means it's got the Sports exhaust, and it's also got the Chrono Pack as well. And another great thing this car's got is PDK, which was just under £2,000 as an option back in the day. These days the PDK is quite controversial. It's kind of like, do I want the PDK or do I want the manual? And like I said, this was a cost option at the time, and now it's sort of the other way around with the 911 range. The PDK is standard, and you need to go higher up the range to get a manual. But this is the slightly earlier version as well that has the sort of buttons on the steering wheel rather than the paddles. But I kind of like it. It's really nice. Again, a little bit like the 911. It's nice to kind of leave in auto mode and just let it do its thing. The PDK is a dual clutch system, and one clutch does the odd numbers and the other clutch does the even numbers, and it works really well. There's no lag between gear changes because it's obviously pre-selecting the next gear ready to go. You really do get punchy quick changes, quicker than you could do manually, and that's reflected in the 0 to 60 time with the PDK being slightly quicker. The 981 benefits from extensive use of aluminium in its structure over the 987. There's a 40% increase in torsional rigidity and a 30 kilo drop in overall weight. The Cayman S's weight is down to 1,310 kilos. The weight distribution is still great on the Cayman. It's 46% front, 54% rear. the aero tweaks at the front and the rear give enhanced downforce and also increase the high-speed stability. If for whatever reason you don't like the PDK buttons on the steering wheel, you can always have the steering wheel changed and the paddles put in by an independent Porsche specialist or a main dealer. So what's it like to drive? Well, the ride is very comfortable. It's slightly firm maybe compared with your average car, but it's probably about the same in firmness as the 987 Cayman that I drove. But then if you do want to turn it into a little bit more of an event, this particular car has got the Sport and Sport Plus button. And if you hit that, you get a bit of a change in the exhaust note, and the gear changes are a little bit more snappy. With this, the buttons on the wheel, you change down with the back button and up with the front buttons, which takes a little bit of getting used to, but eventually once you know what's what, it's fine. If you really want to sort of wake up the neighbours, you can push the Sports Plus button, which, as you can hear, starts to make quite a lot of a racket. It's quite nice though. It sort of pops and bangs when you take your foot off the accelerator, and it also blips a little bit when you change down. One of the options is to have the PASM stability management. This particular car doesn't have it, and I can't say that I've missed it that much really. I suppose one of the bonuses of it not having it is it probably would be quite expensive if it went wrong. Something else that was quite controversial for this 981 model is the electrically assisted steering. But again, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit of a novice, but I can't really tell that much of a difference from the 987 model. It still feels, there's a lot of feedback and you can feel the road quite well. So it really hasn't bothered me in the time I've been driving it. So this S model has a 3.4 litre engine and 321 brake horsepower, which is 5 brake horsepower up on the older model. Another bonus for the 981 is better fuel consumption. You get about 32 miles to the gallon and 450 miles on a full tank of fuel. 0 to 62 comes up in 4.7 seconds, and it has a top speed of 176 miles an hour. You get a great deal of confidence from the brakes. It's a really nice feel through the pedal. They're as good as I could imagine you'd ever need, because I can't imagine really needing the ceramics unless I was going on track. So the interior does feel that little bit more modern and that little bit more smarter than the 987. One of the things all of these 981s get is a touchscreen, which does help with making it feel really nice and modern. So you've still got the really lovely cup holders that come out of the passenger side there. You've got individual climate control on each side, and you've got heated seats as well. I really quite like this sort of beige interior. I think a lot of the cars I've had have had black interiors, and it does make it very dark, and I think it's a really nice contrast with the black exterior paint and this kind of very luxurious looking sort of caramel or beige interior. I think it makes it look really classy. One of the things that's really nice as well, when comparing it with the 992 that I drove recently, is you get a sort of a nice startup sequence on the screens. You get a little Cayman silhouette appear on the dials in front of you, and it also appears on the infotainment in the middle. So that really does feel very modern. It feels very, very today. It doesn't feel like a car that's over 5 years old. This car has got the optional Carrera Classic wheels, which have been refurbished by Quorn Sports and Classics. They've been diamond cut and they look really, really sharp. It really sets off the rest of the bodywork, because you've got that kind of black and silver mix, which goes nicely with the body colour. This car's also got a ceramic coating on the paintwork as well. And if you buy it from Quorn Sports and Classics, it comes with a 3-month warranty. There were 4 different types of seats that you could choose from in the Cayman 981. This particular one has full leather interior, and it's got electrically adjusted and heated seats. So this is quite a highly spec'd car really, so it must have been quite something, or quite expensive when it was bought new. So it's got sort of 6 out of the 7 buttons that you can get. So it's got pretty much everything apart from the Porsche Active stability management. This one's also got the adaptive xenon lights as well, which are a good thing to look for, because a lot of older light designs seem to be just like candles in the wind these days, but the xenons are really powerful still. So if you're looking to buy a 981 Cayman, I'd really recommend buying it from a specialist like Quorn Sports and Classics. Great thing about this car is you've got a 3-month warranty, and also a lot of the work that needed doing, or a lot of the things that need doing for the age of the car, have already been sorted for you, so it gives you quite a lot of peace of mind. So what are the things to look for on a 981? Well, earlier cars tend to suffer with corrosion on the brake calipers, particularly the brake caliper bolts. So like with any car then, when you come to buy one of these, just check a lot of the paperwork and see where it's been serviced, and find as much about the records as you possibly can. One thing to look for as well is you can run a diagnostics on it on the DME to see if the engine management sort of recollections of the mileage match what you can see on the instrument binnacle. Another thing to look for as well is that it hasn't been over revved, but you might need a specialist or a Porsche dealer to be able to tell you whether they can plug it in and see if the engine has been over revved at all. Check the radiators in the front through the bumper. Sometimes you get a lot of debris build up in there, and that can lead to corrosion over time. Check the aircon and that there's no leaks from underneath the car, because the condensers can corrode. So exhaust mountings can corrode, particularly on old, higher mileage cars, and that can lead to a blowing exhaust, which could be quite expensive to fix. A heavy clutch on a manual car can be a sign that it's on its way out, and you probably need to budget around £1,100 to put that right. A good thing to check is the tyres. Make sure they're a decent brand. This car's got Pirelli P0s on it, and also check that they're N-rated as well, because that should be expected on a Cayman's tyres. So I would say a good thing to look for is no modifications really. You're looking for a good genuine car that uses genuine parts. You don't really want lots of aftermarket parts that you maybe can't be as trusted, or maybe might not be as reliable as the original parts from the factory. So this 981 has stop-start on it. It was one of the things that was the drive for Porsche's drive for efficiency and usability. So it did make this car more usable on an everyday basis, and less of a kind of a just for a sporty drive, or something that you would use at the weekends. Some people think that's good, some people think that's bad, but it does give you, that kind of dual character, which makes it very usable every day, and also still just as much fun when you want to hit the sport button and really turn it on. So to sum up then, I think the 981 has really moved the game on from the 987. It is a lot more modern in here. You've got more mod cons from a kind of a multimedia and infotainment point of view, but also the whole car feels that little bit more modern, from a kind of everything from the steering to the road holding and to the sort of drivability. As I've mentioned, the Sport button and the Sports Plus button really do add that extra dimension to it, and it's great that this particular one has got it. I think I would use the Sport button, personally maybe not so much the Sports Plus, because it's a little bit too loud for me, it's a little bit in your face, but I would imagine you will probably love it, and most people would want it. So I think it's definitely something to sort of have there as an option, so you don't want to miss out on it, but I probably wouldn't use it too much, but I'm probably getting a bit old. So I think the styling on the outside as well has sort of moved the game on. It looks very, very modern. I think one of the things that really makes this particular model hold its value and still kind of seem like a brand new Porsche is the exterior really is sort of cutting edge and looks very similar to the latest model. But one of the things that makes it hold its value is the fact that you've still got the flat six, because Porsche moved to the 718 and put the 4-cylinder engine in it. So that's something that's really helped the values of these 981s, is because people still want the flat six. So it's sort of a nice combination of both things. It looks pretty much like a new Porsche, but you've still got the flat six. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. More car reviews to come. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you get the chance, and maybe even hit the notification bell as well. All of those things help with other people find the videos and just pushes it out to more people who might be interested in this stuff. So anyway, thanks again, and bye for now.